FunkNfans, Nice Guy community. I threatened to do it on episode 400, and yep, here it is. I am reposting episode number 1, the very first Nice Guys on Business that we put out in February of 2015. And I'm not even going to go back and listen to it because I think if I do, I'll go, no, this is really terrible. I can't post it. So, little bonus material, a little classic rewind. Definitely curious to see what you guys think of it since there's only one person that's been listening since episode 1. And we want to thank you for that, Paul. Everybody else, hey, enjoy the classic rewind of the very first episode of the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
So we're here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to podcast number 1.
I'm excited.
I am incredibly excited as well. We want to thank you guys for taking a chance on us. We know that your time is valuable, and we are absolutely going to do our best to provide valuable content to make it worth it for you guys to take the time to listen.
And I really know that it's very important. The value is there because you had to drive on a toll road to get to my house to actually start recording this. So I know I don't want to waste any of your money.
Doug, that is thoughtful Doug Sandler right up front. That is exactly what it's all about. You know, we live on opposite sides of town, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do and make the investment of the time and sometimes the toll money to make it happen.
Well, and you really know you're not sitting right next to me. You're probably still at home. Are you in your pajamas over there?
Come on. This is the theater of the mind. You can't let people in like that.
I got my ascot on. I got my smoking jacket on. I am excited. I'm excited for many reasons. Number one, because finally last night I figured out how to get the VCR to stop blinking 12 o'clock. So.
You are definitely a couple years behind on that, but that's a good one. Congratulations. It's the small victories that are important.
So why don't we tell everybody why we're here, what we're going to do? I mean, I'm happy to start since I was the original Nice Guy. You're kind of you're walking on my Nice Guy turf, but I love the fact that you're here, and because this would sound really odd if I was just talking to nobody, I'm happy that you're here. So my name is Doug Sandler. And I got this whole program called Nice Guys Finish First. I got a book. I got some all cool stuff that's out there. And I just didn't have a way. Actually, Strick, I had no idea about the technology side. So that's why you're here. So that's kind of me. I'm Doug Sandler, and I'm here to use you, Strickland Bonner.
Well, Doug Sandler, I'm here to ride on your coattails of the Nice Guy program that you have created and done incredibly well with. My name is Strickland Bonner, and I am just excited to be here. And really, this is a great example of how you got to try and team up with people that are your complement and not people that are the same as you, because your shortcomings are the things that you need help with, maybe from somebody else. But that's for another podcast.
Totally another podcast, but we're going to get there. We have so much to cover. We have, we probably have 13 hours of material we've got to cover in the next 10 minutes. So we got to get started, Strick.
Yeah, we're going to jump in really, really quick right now. Really what this is all about, as our amazing voiceover man, Steve O'Brien, said, is this is all about making relationships, being nice, and growing your business from that.
I'm ready to do it. So is that a guitar that I see over in the corner? What are you doing with that?
Yeah, I play a little guitar. Doug pretends to play a little guitar. He's actually an excellent DJ. As a guitar player, Doug is a really great DJ.
And I would say the same. As a DJ, you are an excellent guitar player.
Thank you very much. We do come from the entertainment background. Doug has been DJing for years, and I've been playing guitar for years. And we are in what they call the one-nighter industry, where we do lots of weddings and bar and bat mitzvahs.
Wait, our significant others could be listening to this, the one-nighter industry. I'm not sure you want to talk about that right here.
That may not be the best description. Yeah, that would be we are in the event industry as opposed to playing bars.
We're in the party business.
That's it. We are in the business of parties, and Doug is the best at what he does for many reasons, but one of which is the amazing customer service. With what we do, the product is us, and we are selling to people that it is the most important day of their life.
I would say the customer service, and certainly, yes, it is it's the most important day of their life. And for us, we need to make them feel as though that is indeed the case. And I think really where where we should get started, if we back up just a little bit, because we jumped in really fast, and I guess people don't even know, they know a little bit about our background, but we should talk to them about really the purpose of this entire podcast. We're going to talk about customer service. We're going to talk about networking. We're going to talk about building relationships and connections, and all of the things that really go lockstep with that. We need to make sure that we have the right focus on the podcast. We're going to skip around. We're going to go in a whole bunch of different places, but I think for the most part, this is going to be a podcast that's going to talk to you about how to build better relationships with your customers, how to build better relationships with the people that you work with. Hopefully, if we do it right, it's going to tie into how to build better relationships at home also. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're really going to get involved with.
And Doug, I see that this is absolutely focused on people who are entrepreneurs, maybe starting their own business, or you have a small business that's going already, can certainly speak to anybody that has anything to do with customer service. But, when you're the little guy and you're still trying to get your feet wet, or you're trying to make something happen, you need every bit of ammunition that you can possibly find. And this is such a great one because really it's free. And that's, budgets are tight when your company is small. And we really have found over the years that being incredibly over the top nice to people is an incredible way to get the reputation going, get your name out there, and build your business.
Well, when I originally started in business, and again, I know that you kind of mumbled through those words originally, but about 30 years of business. I've owned my own company for about 30 years, and I started with a really simple philosophy, and it was tell the truth, return your phone calls, and be a nice guy. And that started for me probably back in 1976 when I first was working at a cookie store, or wherever I was working at the time, well into the 70s. And I can just remember the philosophy hasn't changed through all the years. All we're trying to do now is just bring it to today, bring it to the customers today, the world today, and everybody that's listening to the podcast.
Well, thank goodness the hairstyles have changed since then, and I think both of us are a little bit cleaner cut than we were then, but I'm in the same situation where we're in a band and we run the party at a wedding, at a corporate event, and it's really the most important day of their life. And if they don't know inherently that I care, that we are really there for them, that they're not going to talk about it, they're not going to come back. And any business is exactly the same way. You have got to make it special. You have got to make an incredible experience for your customers so they will remember and talk about it. Talk to their friends about it.
So why don't we spend a moment or two just talking about business today, how things have changed today as where they were. Maybe some people that are listening weren't even alive in the 70s or the 80s when you had that bad hairstyle. And I like the one you have today, but going back to the 70s, things have changed. But although technology has changed, a lot of the relationship building tactics and techniques have stayed the same. So why don't we just spend a couple of moments talking about what we want people to think about in today, 2015, where we think they need to be today.
Well, even in the last 10 years, it's 2015 right now. 10 years ago, Twitter existed, I think. Facebook existed, but really they were not any kind of force or factor in anything. And nowadays, you just cannot live in any kind of business that you make, whatever widget it is that you provide, if you don't have Twitter, if you don't have Facebook, if you don't have Instagram, if you don't have Pinterest, because that is the marketing machine that is out there.
Well, you got to stick with the marketing machine for sure. I mean, just as we started back in our business in the, I guess it was probably, how long have you been in a band?
22 years.
So what would that be, 1990 something?
Yeah, 1993 I started with this band.
Okay, so as when I started in the DJ business, probably in the mid 80s, everything was records and it was heavy and it was hard to get clunky and difficult to get around. Our telephone, really no cell phones. Telephone was our only way to really communicate.
I used to have a pager.
You had a pager? Oh, that's right.
I had a pager.
You just recently got rid of your pager.
It's just like last month, yeah.
So as technology changes, social media, oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine building my current business today, this NiceGuys Finish First business, with a book on the market and with speaking engagements and with all of the other things that I have, that I feel like I'm offering to my market. I couldn't do it without social media.
It's unbelievable. The feedback that you get also from your customers. It's online, it's on Yelp, it is everywhere out there. You cannot hide from it. And anybody that has an indifferent customer experience, okay, they're probably not going to post, they're not going to do anything. But when they have a bad one, they're going to tell the whole world. And you just can't afford that in your business.
All right, so let's start by really focusing on the things that we think are important to the business person that's out there today. You got a guy or a girl that is starting a business today, and they're just they're not struggling, they just don't know where to go. You know, they work for a company right now and they're thinking about maybe going off on their own, or they have a small company on their own. What do you think would be the most important thing that they would need to have in order to really begin to take those first couple of steps in getting involved in their own business?
Well, to me, first of all, you got to find something that you love. Find something that you think you're going to be great at.
Passion, I love that.
Absolutely. And then you got to figure out how to make it unique. It is very, very difficult in this world to, whatever widget it is that you have that you're selling, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other people selling that same widget. So how do you make yourself stand out from the crowd?
Okay, so you have passion and you have a unique approach. Okay, so now what do we do?
To me, it is all about, when you get that first customer, you have to make them feel like they are your only customer, that you are in business uniquely for them. This product or service that you created just for them. There's nobody else around, and that you're there for them all the time.
All right, and I would even back up even one step further than that. Right after you have the passion and you have the unique approach, you got to have a list. You've got to have a list. If you are not building your list right now and developing a following, you need to present yourself, I think, even before you get out there and start to have that unique approach to your specific client and do a great job of servicing. You may not even have a client to service.
Doug, you're so right. I'm jumping ahead saying that first customer. You've got to get that first customer first.
So how do you do it?
Well,
what would you do?
The list. You got to find the list. You've got to get the word out. You got to start with your friends, even if it's people that would not use whatever service it is that you have.
Well, you know, I got a problem right up front right there.
You have no friends. I know, Doug, that's it. There's some problems that we just can't get past.
All right, so I buy myself some friends. I can do that.
Okay, so we start by buying yourself some friends, and you tell them all about whatever it is that you do, and you say to them, is there anybody that you know that could use this, that would like this, that might be interested in this? And you just got to get the word out.
So get the word out. So we have passion, we have a unique something that we're going to offer to this market. Now we just have to figure out who our market is. So I think personally, I mean, again, I've grown businesses differently than a lot of people that are out there, but I just think you have to come up with that target audience. In the beginning, that target, just envision a target on a piece of paper. In the center circle, I would put everybody that I know. It would be my family, my friends, the people that if I ran into them at a food store, that they would say, hey, Doug, what's going on? How are you? Then in that outer circle, the one right in the middle, outside of that center circle, I would create another circle. And that circle would be people that I know through my industry. It would be members of the same association that I'm a part of. People that if I picked up the phone and I called them or sent them an email, I think that they would respond. They would say, hey, what's going on? Hope things are going well. And I would share information with them. Then that outer circle is going to be the people that they know and the people that my inner circle, my very inner circle knows. So for me, if you start in the very center, and I started building NiceGuys Finish First as my speaking business and my book business. I started that about 2 years ago. I started with that very center list. All of a sudden, that center list became that outer list, and the outer list became the bigger outer list. And we had a network that maybe started out as 50 or 75 people, and it's boomed. I mean, you've seen I'm not... There are thousands of people that are in my network right now, and I love it because it's not as though everybody knows me by first name, but I want them to know me as Mr. Nice Guy. I want them to have just a couple of little facts about me, just enough to pique their curiosity in what I do and what I'm offering the world.
So not to push Doug too much, but on LinkedIn, I happen to know that Doug has a post that has over 11,000 responses. 11,000 people stopped and didn't just click like. They actually stopped and wrote something on his post. And that's what it's all about. It's getting the word out.
It's all about getting the word out. in that particular post, I don't want to say I got lucky because, you have an opportunity and you keep presenting opportunity. Opportunity presents itself to you many, many times, and you just have to figure out which one is the right one for you. But that was incredible. For me, I'm even astounded that I've gotten as many comments as I have. And it was just about the silly thing of help me pick a cover for my book. I put two side by side, 11,800 and some odd comments as of today. And what's happened as a result of that particular post, you have all of these people that now start to follow you, and they have this interest in you. And no matter what you put, and no matter what I'm putting right now on LinkedIn, it seems to be turning to networking gold. For me, it's, and at some point, those things, if we focus on just the network and just the connections right now and not focus on the dollars will come. They will definitely come. You'll start to get whatever that product or service that you have out there and that you're going to put out to the world. If you just start with building your network, I promise you will be doing yourself justice by doing that.
And I'm sure that when you put the post out saying that you'd pay $1 for everybody that made a comment on there, you never thought it would cost you $11,000 in the end. But
that was crazy. That's crazy. So we have our passion. I'm just reviewing, just because I know we're going really fast and we're going through a lot of stuff. We have our passion. We have our unique way to approach, and we'll come back to that one too to develop a specific spin on everybody's product or service that they're offering. And then we have this network that we're building. Now we need to figure out how to get the word out to this network that we're building. Because initially, you really aren't, I call it puking product. You're not out there, you're not just throwing product left and right and slamming people. You need to start by building this all-important thing called relationships. So how do you do that? What would you do?
Well, Doug, I would take a step back even further, and everybody's got a different approach to this. But I would say, instead of just finding your core people that you know, figure out who your specific customer is.
Ooh, you want a little avatar.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. You got to build that avatar of, okay, my product, this is the one specific person that is going to buy my product. And you've got to figure every little thing about that person. Are they male? Are they female? Are they young? Are they old? What kind of things do they like? What do they do on the weekends? Where do they work? Do they drive into work? Do they need to listen to a podcast while they're driving into work? And when you can figure out that specific person, then it makes it that much easier to figure out exactly how to market to that person.
Well, what's really interesting for me is the ability to get inside the head of that person, to figure out, like you said, if you live, eat, breathe, and sleep the way that person lives, eats, breathes, and sleeps, you can figure out what it is that they're going to want. Are they going to want your book? Are they going to want your whatever that widget is that you're offering the world? I don't really even know what the majority of people that could be listening to this podcast are going to be. They could have a service, they could have a product. Are we looking for something that's supposed to be universal? And can we approach them and say, hey, we think that all of what we're offering is going to be good for everybody?
Well, I believe that the advice that we've given so far can work incredibly well for just about anything, because you don't want to try to sell to everybody. You can't compete with Sears and Target and Walmart because they are just way too big. So the whole idea of the more niche marketing, where you are trying to find a very specific person, is, to me, the way to go, even if you are a pretty big business. Anthropology. Everybody knows Anthropology. Store. It's great, but really, what do they sell? They sell to a very specific person. Their whole business was built on, I'm going to sell to this specific woman, and she is middle-aged, and she has this type of job, and she has this type of income, and that's all they care about.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that's why I like going in there?
I call them like I say.
I love candles. Everybody likes a good bubble bath every once in a while.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Sandler is a 34-year-old professional female with an income between $50,000 and $75,000 per year.
You know, I like my Cosmos. You know, I love them. Well, wait, before you get into Anthropology, I think we really, we're everywhere, and I think that the best podcast listener is the one that's saying, give me concrete information. Give me more, but give me specifics. Don't tell me about Anthropology. We might have a 50-year-old guy that's from a suburb of Baltimore, like I am, and they don't care about Anthropology. I mean, Anthropology is a great store. Like I said, I do love candles, but I think they want specifics. I think the people that are going to be listening to this, This average person like you and me is going to want some concrete information, and we're all over the place. Can we make a promise? Can you make a promise?
Hey, we're going to make a promise to our listener.
All right, so
right now.
Get the knife out. I want you. It's going to be a
blood promise.
It's going to be a blood promise.
All right, Doug. If that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do.
Oh no, I'm afraid of all that stuff. So what I think we should do is we should break it down into very, very bite-sized pieces, and let's talk about something specific on our next podcast. Give me a good concrete, something that we can really focus in on and pinpoint.
You know what we need to do? We need to tell people, how do you get the first customer?
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. So is it going to be through networking? Is it going to be through conversation? Is it going to be through email? So we really are, so this next podcast, promise me you're not going to let me go all over the place.
No, we're going to stay focused, and it could be any of those things.
Okay.
See, that's what we're going to have to talk about. And by the way,
that was a good teaser. I like that. That was good.
If you have an established business, the tips that we're going to give next week definitely will apply to you as well. If you've already found your first or your 50th or your 1,000th customer, we are going to give you advice on how to find the second 1,000th or the 10,000th. It's not just for the brand new people. There's so much that we're going to be talking about.
I'm excited about this. We're literally 20 minutes or so into our first podcast, and we're already talking about podcast number 2.
Although, Doug, I have enough customers. I don't need more. Do you?
No, I need more, and I probably need a couple more bucks also in my pocket.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, I got enough customers.
Who needs any more? All right, so let's wrap it up for now.
Well, we thank you guys for listening and taking the time, and we do hope that you're going to be joining us again next week. Every week we're going to be doing this podcast. It will be on Tuesday. It will be posted on Tuesday wherever you love to get your podcast.
Nice Guy Tuesdays. I love it.
Nice Guy Tuesdays, whether it be iTunes or BlackBerry or Skitcher or wherever you may get your podcast, that's where we want to go. So we want to thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Doug Sandler, I will see you soon.
Strickland Bonner, we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to The Nice Guys with your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner. Get more info and stay in touch at niceguysonbusiness.com.